I wasn't a runner. I was in the 6 mile a year club because back then we had to do 3 miles twice a year for our physical fitness test. And I remember being out in the dark on the road, just shuffling, and it just hit me like, your head is clear right now. This is the only time that you can hear yourself think. And I got bit by the bug.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 84 of the On the Runs podcast. It is a full moon outside. Erica and I are ready. Happy birthday, Lena. It's turning 22. It's a lot going on. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Erica, what's up?
That was the most chaotic intro I think we've ever had. Happy birthday, Lena. Let's get that and make sure that's reiterated. Yeah, full moon, all the crazy stuff going on, and still eating Thanksgiving leftovers. How was your holiday weekend?
I have so many leftovers because we cooked 2 turkeys. It's just...
You had 2 turkeys?
Yeah, I actually got 2 turkeys, and we cooked them both. We cooked one Wednesday night, one on Thanksgiving. I had the whole griddle fired up. We had the whole 36 inches.
Can you do that on a griddle?
But not a turkey.
That's what I'm like looking at.
We had so many people over. I did pancakes, scrambled eggs, corn hash browns, bacon, sausages. We had ham. And then in the kitchen, Ashley was doing the turkey and the stuffing and probably other stuff. And so a lot of people came over early, so we had some breakfast foods. I actually had 0 turkey on Thanksgiving. I just ate what I made for breakfast, and it lasted in my belly all day.
Well, that's your mistake. You ate breakfast on Thanksgiving when you're supposed to eat like a very early lunch and just like
this was a very late breakfast. It was more like brunch because we went running in the morning, and so I basically got home. I went to the gym, jumped in the sauna, jumped in the shower, came home, fired up. The griddle was already going, and I just took over the griddle. And
there you go. Way to drop that we ran on Thursday morning. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we did. That was so much fun. Like, we went to Brookline. I drove. You need to give me some credit. Like, you're like, it's so far. I always drive double the distance of you, and I just love it and have fun.
I'm just lazy. You know this. I'm a lazy driver.
You're lazy butt. You don't like to get up early. You don't like to run in the cold.
I'll run as much as you want.
No, you'll do it if it's with Rachel. You'll do it if it's with Rachel, as we learned.
Hey, I still get up early for you and Jay, but still, not a morning person. I can't get past it. It's hard.
I like the longer drives because it gives me time to like wake up. Versus, let's be honest, if the race was 3 minutes down the road and we did the Manchester race, I would drive there and sit in my car forever and be like, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Oh.
But I got the 40-minute drive to Brookline, New Hampshire to wake up. And that was kind of a cool run because there was snow on the ground.
Oh, I loved it. That was my first time seeing that part of the like Brookline Rail Trail in the daylight because that was at the tail end of the ghost train course. Or at my tail end of the ghost train course. But it was very nice. It was very scenic, very beautiful. A little treacherous with some of that snow, but we made it through. Nobody fell.
So speaking of snow and running on snow, do you remember this video? It gets cycled every time there's a snowstorm of the girl in the news saying like, running on the snow is so great. You know how I like to creep on Instagram and find the photos? Well, a year ago, like the first snowstorm of the year, I don't know if we talked about this on the pod. I creeped and I Googled everything about this person to find them. And I found them and I got an email and I emailed her saying like, will you come on the podcast? And I never heard back at crickets. So she's probably like,
probably like, nobody will let this die. Like, just let me be embarrassed in peace.
I tried to make it like tell her what we do. Like, yeah, we'd love to talk about that, but we don't want to talk about you.
Gotcha.
I tried that. I got crickets. It's not the first time, won't be the last time. And I'm very happy with the ones who do come back. And if you don't, maybe we'll get you later when we blow up.
See, people, we're fun. I believe it. I totally believe that we're fun. We just need everybody else to get on board.
The race was great. Speaking of Jay, like she's right there at her Boston Marathon goal. She's like within $1,000, maybe less than 500. So she's going to get there like
That is the most amazing fundraising effort I've ever seen. Like she just plowed through that, and that's just going to be a huge relief off of her shoulders.
yeah.
So
We got to get her.
All that's left is
She's going to
training.
be there by the next episode, and then we'll just focus on Justine. Let's blow Justine's up and get it done by Christmas
Hell
time.
yeah.
Yeah. And then those two girls can just train and work hard for Boston all winter long and not have to worry about a penny. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be awesome.
Definitely.
How was your Thanksgiving? I know your Brandon's dad was in town and his brother. Any more family? What did you do? You did not go to Myrtle Beach.
I did not. My sister and Lucas did, but it was just the four of us for a very small, kind of non-traditional Thanksgiving. We had stuffed chicken, which was really good. So we didn't even have turkey, but there was still stuffing and roasted veggies, and we went all out. I actually baked an apple crumb pie this year from scratch, sort of. Just not the crust, but everything else was homemade. It came out amazing. I was very proud of myself for pitching in somehow, because I pretty much stayed out of the kitchen the whole time that they were here. I was just like, you guys do your thing. I actually, after the race, I came home and I took a little nap. I was so tired I was up at like 5 something that morning, and I was just like, I was ready to take a snooze.
I don't blame you. We all needed it after that food coma. I don't remember what I did. Yeah. Like after the race, I kind of told you I cooked and we had Ashley's side of the family over, lots of kids, lots of like teenagers, crazy, loud noise, chaos.
Wow.
They were all gone by like 2:00.
That was it?
I don't remember. We went to the Speedway and did the Christmas lights that evening. And
cool.
I was tired. We then went to my parents on Friday and spent the day at their house. My sister was there and her boyfriend, Mike. And then my brother FaceTimed us. So it was basically me, Ashley, the kids, and Hannah and Mike with my parents. And it was much quieter, much more relaxing. I took a nap with Tyler. It was amazing. Like, I needed that nap. Naps are awesome.
I do. I will promote naps all the time.
Yeah.
Even though I don't get to take them very often. I could kind of use one now, even though right now it's 9:00 at night, so it's probably just an early bedtime. But
yeah, you don't need a nap. You just need to go to bed. So let's finish these Tros. Let's get to our interview. We had this really cool guy. So our patrons got a fun little preview of what's to come. And you guys don't want to miss this because it was great. It was like Erica was on the verge of tears laughing.
He just was coming out with all of these just goodies. So you guys are definitely going to enjoy. And we got to promote his race that's coming up soon. He's one of the race directors for the Devil Dog Ultra. So you'll hear him talk more about that, but we just put it on your radar, you guys, if you're down in the Virginia area.
Absolutely, and we can talk about more of that after, but let's get to it. Wes Faulk on the On the Runs podcast. Our next guest came to us from a friend of the pod. He's a United States Marine currently living in Japan. He's won multiple ultramarathons. He likes to wear fun shorts with ducks and lives by his handle, run hard, run fast, and run often. And we're going to see after this if Erica has a few more ultras on her bucket list. We are wicked excited to have Wes Faulk on the On the Runs podcast. Wes, what's up, buddy?
Excited to be here. Like Leroy Jenkins said, guns up. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Wes, it's absolutely our pleasure to have you. First off, thank you for your service. We're just coming off of Veterans Day over here. So thank you for all that you do. And yes, Eric is right. I will probably be adding some ultras to my list after talking to you. So I'm ready to dive right in and get to know you a little bit better.
All right, let's jump on in.
Let's do that. You are in Japan right now. This is like you're on the other side of the world from us. How cool is that we're able to do this? It is 2023, but you are stationed in Japan. Where are you?
So I am actually south of Japan on a beautiful island called Okinawa. We're a little bit north in terms of latitude of Hawaii, but y'all are going through the cold right now. It's about 75 degrees here, sunny. I'm looking out at the blue waters of the Pacific Ocean. Went snorkeling on Friday and swam with a sea turtle, which was super awesome. Yeah, swam with a sea turtle. I'm over here for a year. Was lucky enough to get promoted back in April, and the people that handle our HR said, "Well, guess what? It's time for you to move." And my son was a sophomore then, going into junior year of high school. Didn't really want to yank him up and change life around too much, so they offered me the opportunity to come over here for a year by myself, leave the family in place. Bada bing, bada boom. Next thing you knew, July 31st, I left the States and showed up in Tokyo, where I was supposed to have an hour and a half layover that turned into 8 days
Whoa.
because of typhoon. Yeah, a typhoon, the Pacific equivalent of a hurricane,
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
was battering Okinawa.
Mhm.
So I got stuck in Tokyo for 8 days, as ultra runners are wont to do. I threw on a backpack, hopped on the metro, and over 5 days got in about 40 miles of walking around Tokyo, seeing all the sights, and then ended up here. So been here since August, and it's a pretty cool place.
That is one hell of an adventure. Holy shit.
Is it your first time out there?
Yeah, I came out here on a work trip back in 2014, but first time for any sustained period of time.
All right. That's so cool, man. That's so cool. Well, I echo what Erica said. Thank you for your service. You might be our first military guest on the pod. I don't know, maybe 80 something episodes now. I don't know if any of them are old veterans, but thank you to all of you for doing that. It was just Veterans Day. This is super exciting. We like to get to know you first, though. So we know you're a Marine. We know you're in Okinawa, but let's hear a little bit about where you're from. You're a family man. Apparently you have kids and all that, but let's start from your childhood.
I hear an accent too.
Yeah.
A little bit of an accent.
Yeah. Definitely the polar opposite of you Yankees up there in the Northeast. I'm originally from Savannah, Georgia, or just outside of Savannah, Georgia, but everybody knows Savannah, where we like to say we have the biggest party St. Patrick's Day in the United States. We'll give you all the biggest up there in Boston, but we have the biggest party. It's a good time. If you ever find your way down there, we have no open container laws in Savannah. So if you find your way down, go to Wet Willie's, get a cab, and enjoy the show.
Wow.
But grew up down there.
Destroyed at Wet Willie's once in Tampa Bay. Just destroyed.
Oh no.
There's a drink called a taxi
It'll
cab.
sneak. The cab.
Call a cab. That was the drink. Yep.
151 and fruit punch Slurpee. It'll sneak up on you.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yep. That was at a Bruins game in Tampa Bay, and I left my mark on the top floor of a parking garage.
Good to know.
It happens to the best of us.
Yes,
to the best of us.
Yep.
But played a lot of G.I. Joe when I was a kid, and Sergeant Slaughter, before he was a WWF wrestler, was my favorite action figure of all time, which led in 2001, I was lucky enough to get an appointment to the United States Naval Academy. Went up there, graduated in 2005, and as they like to say, the rest is history. Put on this uniform for the first time then, and 18 years later, still going strong. Probably got a couple more years left in my kit bag, but we'll see.
You said Naval Academy, but you're Marine. When did you make that transition?
So the Marine Corps is actually part of the Department of the Navy.
I'm learning
we like
something
to call
here.
ourselves the men's. We are the men's department.
That is great.
And when I went there, by law, it was 17 and 2/3% of every graduating class could become Marines. That's since increased. I think it's about 25% now, just based on what the services need. But yeah.
You said 2001. Was that before or after 9/11?
It was before 9/11.
Okay.
I was in class at the Naval Academy when the towers got hit.
Wow.
What are some of the other tours you've been on? You're in Okinawa now, but where have you been? Where has the Marines taken you?
Quantico, Virginia. I've spent a lot of my career there. Spent about 5 years down in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, a couple of years out in Camp Pendleton, California. Actually found running found me in, of all places, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which is an Army base, or an Army post to be precise, where the Field Artillery School is. I was stationed out there for 3 years, 2009 to 2012, and been all over the world. Been to the sandbox a couple times. Iraq twice. Afghanistan once. Got to go to Peru. Once we get into Devil Dog, I'll tell you about how I ran Devil Dog in Peru in 2018. That was fun. So yeah, seen a little bit of the world. Now I'm getting the Asian side of the world, at least when it comes to the Marine Corps.
That is absolutely fascinating. I mean, they really have brought you all over the place. What's your favorite place so far that you've been to?
It's where he is right now, looking at the ocean.
I know. You can't really beat that, huh?
It is hard to beat the views here. A lot of great memories everywhere I've been. The Marine Corps is a great institution. You work with some of the best people you'll ever work with. And I know a lot of people say that about their jobs, but I believe it to be true, especially for us. So it's usually where I am. I would say right now, I definitely want to get back to Quantico, though, because that's where the family's at.
Absolutely.
So ready to get back to them. I'll be heading back the 28th. I fly out to go home for Devil Dog. And I was saying earlier, I'll be up at Gillette Stadium on December 9th for the Army-Navy game. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, Erica, he was telling me before you jumped on, before we recorded, they do that every year. So he's flying home for the game, and it'll be awesome because you'll get to see your family. You have a kid or multiple kids. I know you're married. Save the love story. I can't wait for that love story. But yeah, tell us a little bit about your family back at home.
Well, the love story I was telling you is actually about my wife's sister wife, my trail wife.
Yes, that's right.
But right. No, I was a young second lieutenant in 2006, and I went to the PX, aka the Post Exchange, aka the little shopping mall on base, to go buy a watch, actually, because I wanted the super cool Casio that had GPS time and solar power, and ended up buying it from a girl who at the time didn't know. But as I checked out, she said, "You're going to come back and see me on Monday, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Love to." Forgetting that on Monday I had the rifle range, and it went the entire week that week.
Oh.
So I didn't think she gave me the time of day. I did not show back up on Monday. Turns out that was a big mistake because she was waiting for me. I didn't show up. The next week I went in. She wasn't there. She was sick. So it took about 2.5 weeks for us to reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "You know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. Would you like to go out with me?" She said, "Yeah." So I picked her up, and I've seen this thing on the internet lately about places that girls absolutely will not go on a first date.
Oh, that list. Oh my gosh.
That list. Well, in 2006, I don't know if that list existed. And about half of the places on that list are all that's available in Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is outside of Camp Lejeune. So I took her to Outback on our first date. And then we went and saw that cinematic, epic Talladega Nights, The Legend of Ricky Bobby.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You know what?
Next thing you...
That list, it all depends on the person. That sounds like a great date to me. So you're fine. And it worked out.
It did work out because next thing you knew, we were standing at the courthouse and making it official. So been married for 17 years on the 22nd of this month.
Excellent.
And we have one son who was obstinate and hard to care for when he was young. And when he was 3.5, I remember looking at each other from opposite ends of the changing table when we had just gotten rid of the last pack of diapers and going, "Yeah, we're not doing this again." So
smart move. You know why? Because when I did it again, I got 2. So I have my daughter and I have twin boys.
Yep. Nope. We hit the boy the first time and said, "That's it." So he's now a junior in high school. Not a runner. Well, I take that back. He just started indoor track for the first time. So
Nice.
might be a runner, but not our type of runner. Short,
we are a
fast
special
stuff.
breed.
We are a special breed of crazy. So, yeah, they're back in Quantico. my wife took over coaching duties for the high school football team this year for me and did a hell of a job. And looking forward to getting back here in a couple weeks and seeing them. So
yeah,
it'll
I'm
be good.
excited for you. That would be nice. That would be nice to come back home for a little bit. You kind of dropped the word running, and we are running podcasts, and maybe we would love to get to know you more, and we still can, but let's hear about this running addiction you have that many of us have, and our listeners who I'm sure like want to hear about it.
Well, you mentioned it
So,
started in Oklahoma. So yeah, what exactly did they have you doing in Oklahoma that sparked this running interest of yours?
so I grew up a team sport athlete, played soccer through high school, thought I'd play soccer at the NCAA level, and that lasted all of one practice when the coach kindly recommended that I should take my talents elsewhere.
Oh,
Ended up playing Division I rugby at the Naval Academy for a couple of years, which was cool.
That's pretty cool.
And then
mm-hmm.
after that, couple pumps to Iraq. In 2009, I found myself in Fort Sill. Like I said, I'd gone and done some stuff a couple times, was back in the States, had a young family, young kid, and I was going through a very rigorous instructor process of becoming an instructor. And it kind of hit me one day like, oh, you're about to pick up a class of lieutenants in a couple months here, and you can't let the lieutenants outperform you when it comes to PT. So you better get your tail in shape.
That's some good incentive right there. You got to show them up.
And I clearly remember it was like October of 2009. And I wasn't a runner. I was in the 6 mile a year club because back then we had to do 3 miles twice a year for our physical fitness test. And I remember being out in the dark on the road, just shuffling. And it just hit me like, your head is clear right now. This is the only time that you can hear yourself think. And I got bit by the bug.
Okay.
And I did, I kept doing it, picked up a platoon. The first one, I had a former West Point football player in it that thought he was fast. And I remember that feeling of not letting him beat me on a run one day and just winning by the lean at the finish line and being like, all right, like, I think I'm kind of good at this. And while I was there, went through the cycle that we all go through: 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon. Ran my first full in 2010 down in Dallas, Fort Worth, and set the PR that I was going to have for the next 8 years. First marathon PR for 8 years. Super awesome. I'm sure you all understand the frustration of I'm going to break it this time and then blowing up epically. While I was there, one of the platoons of lieutenants that I pushed through had a bunch of runners. And by a bunch, I mean like 4 or 5. And we used to link up on Saturdays and we would go run up Mount Scott, which is a hill in Lawton, Oklahoma, about 1,000 feet of vert over 3 miles.
Oh, wow.
And I stayed in touch with one of those lieutenants through his time. We're still friends. We talk a couple times a week now. And in 2016, he was getting ready to get out of the Army, got his first GI Bill payment, and we'd been talking about doing something crazy. He had come the October before that, October of 2015, and crewed me for the Marine Corps Marathon, where I had yet another epic blow up. Thought I was in Boston qualifying shape and ended up running like 340 because it just happens. But that July, he's getting out of the Army, gets his GI Bill payment. And I woke up one morning to a text message that said, check your email. I'm like, okay, what's up with this?
Go on.
Check my email, and there is a receipt from the JFK 50 mile in my name.
Okay.
That I am registered for JFK in 2016. And I'm like, oh, crap.
So it wasn't even you who took the leap. He took the leap for you.
He took the leap, signed us both up.
Okay.
Yeah. So realized I couldn't fake the funk with that. I'd gotten to a point in running where I was kind of faking the funk for a little while. I'm sure you've been there. You've been in the rut. I had just paced a buddy to like a 1:44 half marathon. in May that I didn't really train for. I just went out and ran it. And I was like, well, there ain't no faking the funk for a 50 miler. Like, you can get away with
Absolutely
faking
not.
the funk for a half. There is no faking the funk for a 50 miler.
Mm-hmm.
So I found the trails, and all the things that had bothered me and had me stuck in a rut with road marathoning didn't matter, because you can go into a trail race with, you can think, oh, I'm in 4-hour shape for this 50K. And then you find out it rained all week the week before, and the trails are a sloppy mess. And there ain't no
Yes.
4-hour happening that day. So a lot of the beating myself up and stressing out over pace, like, who matters? Who cares? Or these trails are tricky hard, and there's no going fast on them, things like that. So
Yeah.
ran a couple 50Ks, went up to JFK, went out way too hard, had some bad intel on JFK. I thought that the high school that you wait at was like 200 yards from the start line, not a mile from the start line.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say you need to leave now to get to the start, if you're going to make it to the start on time, they're not kidding.
Okay.
Waiting around for the bathrooms to open up and being like, oh, we got plenty of time. Yeah, no, you hear the gun go off when you're like a half mile from the start and you have to start jogging.
Oh,
So
no.
my buddy James and I ran JFK in 2016. I'm pretty sure we were the last two people to cross the start line, which
Okay.
led to a lot of anxiety and stress and going way too hard on the AT portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
We would pass a lot of people on the uphills and then go, oh, crap. Now they're on our heels. We got to bomb this downhill. So I definitely blew my quads out by the time we got to the towpath. He was kind of blowing his quads out. And it became a little bit of a death march, but made it to the finish. And then about 3 weeks later, I ran the race, which has become my pride and joy, the love of my life, the inaugural Devil Dog Ultras in 2016. And that race was an inaugural race. They did a great job with it. The thing they could not predict is freezing rain was going to fall about 30 minutes before the race started.
I love
Oh,
this
no.
already.
And the first loop is longer than the other loops, it's about 23 miles. The ground was completely frozen. It was like running on a skating rink, which
Oh,
in hindsight
no.
probably saved me because it forced me to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
If not, I probably would have done the same thing I did at JFK, go out way too hot and then blow up. But yeah, made it through. I remember being on the last loop, and we say that the Devil Dog is tricky hard, that the trails in Prince William Forest Park are tricky hard. They definitely are. And in the dark, it's kind of miserable sometimes. And I was on the last loop, and you come around these fingers. The trail just goes back and forth around these fingers. And when you hit the end of the finger, you could hear the party going on at the end. You could hear the party at the aid station. So you think, oh, I can't be that far away. And then you cut back into the draw.
You
Come
gotta
out,
keep
hear it
going
again.
out, and that is the
In and out
worst.
and in and out. And finally, like, I've been hearing this for what felt like hours. It was probably only like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I found this big rock, and I sat down on it. And from now on, I call it the Rock of Despair. Because I sat down and I said, you got to put on your big boy pants here. You got to finish this thing. You have 1 minute to sit on this rock. So I sat for 1 minute, and that wasn't enough. So I gave myself an extra 30 seconds, and I got up.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. You just sit there contemplating life and what am I doing with and
Yep.
it's so hard to get yourself moving again. Ugh. I feel
And
for you.
I would swear to you that night that rock was at least another 2 miles to the finish.
Wow.
That rock is about 100 meters from where you make a left turn, cross the bridge, and it's a quarter mile to the finish. I went back out a few months later, running, and I saw it, and I was like, I think that's the Rock of Despair. And then I go, and I'm like, oh, there's the bridge where you cross the creek. There's no way that was the Rock of Despair. Well, let me tell you, I've run it 100 times since then. That is the Rock of
That is
Despair,
the rock.
and it's my landmark every time I run Devil Dog. Of all right, start looking for the turn because you just hit the Rock of Despair, and the turn is less than 100 yards up the trail.
That's a nice kind of beacon at this point because you know what's coming. After that first one, that's always the worst. You never know what you're really in for.
Yep,
But
yep.
I'm
And
go ahead.
I was going to say one thing led to another. So that fall, 50K, 50 miler, 100K. We all know what the next step is. You got to go get that buckle. You got to go get the 100 miler. So I went to a race. I went back to my home turf, to a race that is now defunct called the Fort Clinch 100. It was in Fernandina, Florida, a 10-mile loop around an old fort on mountain bike trails and beach sand and paved road.
Oh,
Took a buddy of mine, Ryan, who actually had trained for it while in Iraq. He trained for the 50 miler. I trained for the 100 miler. And we get down there. We take his RV. We're having a grand old time. It's in March, so it's in the 40s and 50s in Virginia. We get down there. It's in the 80s and 90% humidity. And really the only thing the race director had told us, other than how the course was going to be marked and where the aid stations were, was one simple rule: no pooping on the trail. You cannot poop on the trail. No pooping on the trails.
the one rule. That's it. That's the rule. I mean, I get it.
That's the rule.
But wait,
no pooping.
You can't poop on the trail, but can you poop like in the woods, or is it all just you're DQ'd if you get caught?
It was kind of put out there like, hey, you're done if you get caught. And this was North Florida, South Georgia. So if you step off the trail, you're in palmettos and kind of jungle. There's lots of creepy crawly things that live out in there, and
snakes.
You don't
I'm
know.
Getting the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. Like, oh god, what kind of situation would I have to be in order to poop in that? Like,
I'm just picturing a snake slithering up and like getting that long tongue right up your cornhole.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting grossed out.
Make it quench your cheek.
Pete did a great job. Pete's a big dude. He played Division I football on the line. He's about 6'3", 245, 250. And on the fifth loop, which was his last loop, my halfway mark, he cramped up to the point that he was doing the straight-legged shuffle, and he tripped over a root and almost went down. And I said, dude, you got to slow down, buddy, because if you trip and go down, I don't think I can physically get you up off the ground to keep going. But he made it. He got his 50-mile finish, having trained on a 1-mile loop in Iraq for 6 months. And then I kept going. The one and only time I have fallen asleep while running. I was running on the shoulder of the road and woke up about 100 yards down the road on the center line. Thank goodness there was no traffic that night. Took a nap mid-race, got up, charged ahead, and right as the sun was coming up, wouldn't you know it, I was in between aid stations, in between places where you were allowed to poop, and there was no holding it back. So I hope he doesn't listen to this, because I did poop on his trail, and
yes.
I don't want to get retroactively DQ'd from that, because somehow, given the fact that there were only, I think, 26 starters in the race, I finished fourth.
Wow.
A little over, was it 26 hours, I think. And I'll never forget.
I got it for you. 26 hours, 27 minutes, and 27 seconds.
Yes, because I got yelled at when I got home of, why didn't you wait one more second so it could be 26, 27, 28?
What I was just thinking, but I wasn't going to say it because your time is faster and that's better. So, but that's how I work.
The best was I got home and my kid, that was 2017, he was 10. Mm-hmm. And his formative years, I had been racing these rinky-dink little race series around Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And my wife's a fitness instructor. Saturday mornings, when little races are, is prime time for fitness instructors to go to work. So we had a pretty good plan. I would go run, then I'd meet her, pick him up, and we'd go to the award ceremony, me and him. So he got used to seeing Dad either on the podium or on the age group podium, and he didn't know the difference. They'd usually give him an extra medal. So I get home, and he gets home from school, and he looks me square in the eye, as earnest as a 10-year-old can be, and goes, "Did you win?" Like, no. Well, I mean, yes, I won because I finished the race. First time out, I finished it. Did you get on the podium? No, bud, I didn't get on the podium. I finished fourth. Like, I'm super excited about finishing fourth. He looks at the buckle. He just thinks about it for a second. You can just see the hamster running on the wheel in his brain. He looks up at me and he goes, "Well, did you try your hardest?" I'm like, yeah, I did. I tried my absolute hardest. And he goes, "Well, then it's okay that you didn't win and that you didn't get on the podium if you tried your hardest. And that's the best you could do." And I'm like, yeah, but that was the damn best I could do. So I appreciate your approval of me.
Oh, that's adorable.
Kids, they're just so honest and raw.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you try your hardest? Yes, I did. I finished. A little
me.
shit. Yes, I did.
Yep. Oh,
awesome.
Man. That is an excursion if I ever heard one. Oh, man. I can't imagine. Well, I mean, have I even done any races? So I've done like winter training, and I went down to Disney, and wouldn't you know it was 30 degrees on the marathon day, like in Florida. I was like, this is not what I wanted. I wanted that warm weather, but that is just such a huge swing. Like you can't, I don't know how you really train for that. Like your body just can't get used to that kind of heat in that short amount of time. So hella kudos to you. That is insane.
That's an awesome story. That was great. That is what we're here
for.
for.
Your first 100 too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. You've dropped, okay, I don't want to wait too long. You have dropped the word devil dog a couple times, and this is your pride and joy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the devil dog race?
So the Devil Dog Ultras, established 2016 by the one and only Tony Baccara, who we'll get into Tony and my relationship with her later. It's spicy. I believe y'all call that a tease in the business.
Yes, we love those.
Good job, Wes.
But I already said, hey, that was my first 100K was Devil Dog the inaugural year. My interaction with Tony that year was limited to crossing the bridge on Loop 2, and she was down there with flashing lights and all kinds of crazy noisemakers, and she looked at me and said, "You look great." And I was like, "You are a liar. Your name shall be liar. Go back to your home on Whore Island, you dirty pirate hooker." And she laughed and told me to get my ass up the hill to the aid station, get some food, and go out and finish my race. So I did. I did. And it was so much fun. It was it's a small race. It's a local race. As we like to say, it's the most fun you can have south of Highway 234, west of I-95 in Prince William County, Virginia, because it really is.
Is that
it? Do you have the nickname the General?
I do not have. Well, I may be taking over as the General. I am the Supreme Allied Commander of Devil Dog, given that I am the only active duty person on the race directing staff. But
I asked because I'm on the website right now, and there's the testimonials, and you have this one guy, the General, who goes, "I'll tell you, the best dadgum 100-miler west of 95, east of 81, south of the Beltway, and north of 64.
That is the actual General, a local legend of Virginia trail running, the one and only Bob Gaylord. Bob is a retired U.S. Army general. He's very active in the Virginia Happy Trails Running Club. Great dude. He and I will be the parking marshals on the morning of the 2nd. So if you're coming to run our race, you will get to see me and Bob. aka the general, out there telling you, no, we're sorry, there is no race day parking here. You have to go park and catch the shuttle bus.
And if they check out the website, they'll read that too, because I read that.
Yep, it's you got to work with what you have, and we don't really have a great place. The first year we did park runners were allowed to park near the start. And a lot of cars got stuck because, like I said, the ground was frozen when we pulled in, and then it unfroze and turned into a muddy mess. So since then, it's been a shuttle bus. You can tell Bob and I your sob story about how you drove through the night to get here and you didn't read the instructions, even though we gave you the instructions 4 or 5 times.
No excuses.
Yeah. And we're going to say sorry. Yeah. Go park over there and figure out how to get here. But 2017, I went back and took a step up. No 100K 2017. 2017, we're going for the 100-miler. And my aforementioned buddy, Ryan, a.k.a. Pete, who had run Fort Clinch 50 in March, it was going to be his first attempt at the 100-mile distance. Unfortunately, he did not. He didn't make it. He made it to about 70 miles and had to drop. Knee went bad. But somewhere in there, Tony and I had struck up a little conversation. I believe it was because she asked me to flash her, aka show some nipples and navel.
Oh, okay. That's a little more tame than what I was picturing.
Oh no. Well, she would happily lube anything up that needs lubing, because we all know it's no fun without lube. And on the fourth loop, the fourth of 5 loops, was when I dropped Pete, made it around, beat the cutoff, started out on loop 5, hadn't gotten my motivation because Tony hadn't been at the aid station at the start finish. And I just happened to cross paths with her as she was circulating the course in the truck. And I'd been thinking about it the whole time, and I'd like to say I took a knee, but it was mile 80 of a race. So odds are I probably didn't take a knee, but I had formulated a beautiful ring out of squirrel's nut butter wrapper. And we exchanged vows on the course. I told her that I would lube anything, that I would listen to all the gripes. I would tell her if it was a real injury or just taper madness going on. And I asked her to become my trail wife, and she accepted. And let's see, we're going on 6 years of wedded trail bliss. She is my real life sister wife now. They've come to an understanding. And
you gotta love it.
And it's just lovely. Whenever I need lube, I know who to call, because Tony is going to take care of me.
Yes.
This is cracking me up. Oh my God. So
if you keep this up, Erica's gonna cry. Like, she'll have tears coming down her face.
I'm already red faced. It's just let me be. Love story for the ages.
Love story for the ages. Fast forward to 2018, I got orders. I moved from Quantico out to Camp Pendleton. And shortly after I got there, I was thinking, what am I going to do for Devil Dog this year? Because the first Saturday in December, at 2 years in at that point, had become Devil Dog weekend for me. Mm-hmm. For my family, the second weekend in December is Army-Navy weekend. Say you can set your watch to it every year. Second weekend in December is Army-Navy. Well, first weekend in December is Devil Dog weekend, and it had already become that. And that September, I got a short notice deployment. I'm going to be the executive officer of a group headed down to Peru. We're going to go do some training with the Peruvians. And wouldn't you know, it coincided with Devil Dog weekend. So
it figures.
The Marine Corps Marathon does a program called the Marine Corps Marathon Deployed, where I actually ran the Marine Corps Marathon Deployed in Afghanistan in 2011 on a whim. So I reached out to Tony and said, hey, can I do Devil Dog Deployed? I was like, don't know if I'm going to be able to, don't know if I'll do 100K or 100 miles, but can I do Devil Dog Deployed? And she said, my trail husband, you have permission to do whatever the hell you want to do. So I got down there, got on off ship, got on land, came up with a lovely little 2-mile loop around the Peruvian Marine Corps base. talked to my boss because, of course, I had to get permission. Like, hey, boss, I want to run 100 miles while I'm here.
Gonna take
And
a
of
little
course,
time, gonna be a little busy for a while. Yeah.
yeah,
So he was
the
cool with
question
it then.
is, yeah, the question was like, while we're here 100 miles? I'm like, nah, 100 miles in one go. Oh, okay. And it happened to fall on the weekend that we had Liberty. So I jumped in, came up with a 2-mile course, made a little tick box on the top of a box to keep track of, okay, how many loops have I done?
Yep.
That year, the first year of Devil Dog was the ice year. The second year was beautiful weather. The third year is what we call the mud year because it rained and turned into a slop. I like to claim that I actually won Devil Dog that year, which if Keith Nippling listens to this, he'll probably take offense to because he won. But I ran,
Fight
I
me,
think,
bro.
20 some hours on the Peruvian Marine Corps base and got it done. So not credited as an official finisher, but unofficially
2-mile loops.
52-mile loops.
Oh my God.
I mean, Erica, you almost do that at Anchor Down.
Kind of, but I've never done it for that long. Like, and you did it in 20 hours, you said? Like something around that?
It might have been
fast.
It was 20 or 20. It was either 20 or 22. I can't remember off the.
Still
I'd have
amazing.
to check. Have to check
Still
Strava.
incredible. That's insane.
Yeah.
So was this kind of on like a trail-like surface, or were you on like whatever you could find around base?
It was road. It was trail. It was on softball-sized rocks over a helicopter landing zone. Jacked up my toe in the middle of the night on a big rock that didn't move when I kicked it. And it was past the point where picking my feet up was gonna happen.
Yeah, that's hard.
And oh, by the way, it's the southern hemisphere where December is July. And much like California, Peru gets that ocean haze in the mornings. And the whole time we'd been there, that haze didn't blow off until about 10, 11, 12 o'clock. Wouldn't you know, on race day, 8 o'clock in the morning, it's bright sunshine. Hot. Peruvians don't believe in ice. So I couldn't get any ice. So it was like, all right, I guess I'm just going to pound fluids until I can't pound fluids anymore. But quite an experience. And I do have the buckle from it because Tony was nice enough to send me a buckle. 2019.
Well, yeah, I think you earned that one. That's amazing.
2019 took a break. I had operational commitments on Devil Dog weekend, so I wasn't able to do anything. 2020, we all know what happened to the world in 2020. Devil Dog actually ran a 50K that year because they couldn't figure out how to get the 100 working. So they did just a standalone, they called it the Quarantine Puppy 50K. And once again, I told Tony, I was like, hey, I missed last year. I really wanted to become a 5-time finisher with everybody else, the very select group of 5-time finishers of this race. I said, is it okay if I don't run the puppy? I'm here. I want to run the puppy, but is it okay if I do 100? And she said, my trail husband, whatever the hell you want to do, do it. So I came up with a paved 10-mile loop around Marine Corps Base Quantico. And you won't find this in any of my race results because it's unofficial, but that is my 100-mile PR of 18:15. 10-mile paved loops, 18:15. The pandemic sucked for a lot of reasons, but it was hella good for training because that was the best shape I've been in a long damn time.
You're not the only one who said that before on the podcast either. Like that was a common thing. The problem was there were no races to run, but everyone was in amazing shape. Scott Black being one of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I got faster that year just because I had nothing to do but do like Peloton workouts. So I was focusing more on working out because there was just nothing else to do.
Yep. Yeah. So did that, went back in 21, got my official 5th finish. And then last year ended up volunteering. And then Tony's been going through some life changes. And I happened to be home in October. I went home to a conference, got to see the family, got to coach a couple football games. And my buddy Pat, and we'll get into Dairy Queen Track Club here in a minute, shot me a message just like, hey, man, I don't know what time it is over there, but can you talk? Because Pat and Justin, my partners in crime, have been active. We've been the lead volunteers for the Start Finish Line aid station for 1 or 2 years now. They had a call, kind of the midterm planning conference, as we'd call it in the Marine Corps, of we're about 2 months out. Let's get everybody synced up, get ready for race day. And it kind of came out during the call of, we don't know if the race is going to happen this year. So Pat reached out and said, hey, I don't know what time it is. Can you talk? And I said, well, I happen to be sitting about 10 miles from your house getting ready to go to this conference. What's up? And he said, I've done the math. I don't want this race to die. What would you think about taking it over?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, let's do it. Like I said, the first weekend in December is Devil Dog weekend. Like, let's make it happen. Went for a run with him that afternoon. Went for a run with Justin later in the week. Gave Tony a call and talked through it and said, you're going to hear Pat and Justin's name. I want you to make sure you know your trail husband is a part of this too. And long story short, within about 2 weeks, we had completed the paperwork and are now the proud owners of the Devil Dog Ultra, coming to you December 2nd, 2023 in Prince William Forest Park, offering not only 100-mile and 100K distances, but 50K distance this year as well. The inaugural, you want to put your stamp on something, first time it's ever happened.
That's amazing. So you've had a hand in everything. You've run the race. You've volunteered. Now you get to be the part of the RDs. You are a race director. So this is super, super
He's
cool.
the owner. He and his buddies are owners. Like, they own this
race
thing.
directors, yeah.
It's their baby. They're going to take care of this and groom it and grow it, and they're going to get you there, Erica. They even gave the 50K.
I think I need to.
This is their baby. What are you doing in a couple of weeks, Erica? Go down there, meet Wes, do the 50K.
If I can swing it, I'll totally try, but vacation time is scarce this year. But holy shit, though, that is amazing. So have any of you guys had any experience in the past doing any sort of race directing, or is this just you guys are jumping right in?
Pat directs a local 50K, or not 50K, 5K, benefiting his kids' elementary school. Justin, we've all run a lot of races, and we all have different experiences coaching at races. So we know things we like, things we don't like.
There you go.
Luckily, we have a great network of people behind us. The race director of the Algonquin 50K is a good buddy of mine and has been more than happy to offer support and thoughts.
Awesome.
And hey, man, does this seem like a crazy idea? Yeah, that's a crazy idea. You're way too close to race day to try to make that happen. Okay, thanks. Or, no, you can do that.
I know someone who did that recently too.
So yeah, it's our first time at this level.
Yeah.
But we have a great team. We are extremely grateful. 99% of our core support staff has stayed on board, has said, you know what, we see things the exact same way that you do. The first weekend in December is Devil Dog weekend. We want this race to keep going on. So we just actually had a call yesterday. Would have been Sunday night your time, yesterday morning my time, going through the final details of everything. And we're set. We'll see. Leroy Jenkins.
Let me ask you this question, because I made a little inside joke about 45 seconds ago. Erica just race directed one of her favorite races for the first time ever back in May, and she took it on within like 90 days. Someone asked her to take it on. She took it on.
It was very last minute, but
kind of like the three of you. So, however, that race is one of her favorite races locally, and it sounds like Devil Dog is your pride and joy, one of your favorite races. One of the first things she said to me after she said yes to taking on this race was, I don't get to run it. So how do you feel? Are you going to get to run it? Are you going to run it later? Are you going to do something to make up for it? the three you going to rotate every year? One of you gets to do it. What's your thought process on that? Because this is your baby. This is your favorite race.
I don't think we've thought that far into it yet. Justin actually was in the lead of the 100K the inaugural year when he hit aforementioned ice going down some rock steps and rolled an ankle and was down for the count. Pat ran the 100 miler. He's run the 100K and took third in the 100 miler in 2018. So we all have run the race at different times. I told Tony in 2021 when I got my fifth finish, 3 officially, 2 unofficially. I told Tony in 2021, I said, hey, I'm going to take a step back from running this race. I love this race. It's awesome. It's incredible. It's my favorite thing to do. But I'm going to take a step back at least next year, and I'm going to help out on the support side. And that's what I did last year. I was a designated hitter. I said, put me where you need me. And that's exactly what I did. This year is going to be the same thing. Like, I understand I'm jumping in last minute coming from Okinawa. I told the dudes, like, they were like, oh, we were going to have you hold the flag for the national anthem before the start. I was like, that's not where the friction is. That's not where I need to be. I need to be marshaling the parking because that's where you need me. Like, okay, we defer to you on that. I do have unfinished business on that course. I have yet to run it sub 24. So I want the 100 miles one day buckle from Devil Dog, and I will get that at some point. Probably not next year because my kid will be a senior and it'll be football season, and I'm going to be doing a myriad of other things rather than training. Who knows? Maybe I'll put the target on the map. 2025. I'm going to go get that sub 24 buckle.
Yeah.
So I think with the three of us and the support crew that we have, the goal is get through this year, look at how we can make minor improvements next year, and then probably by 2025 we'll be at the point where if one of us wants to go out for a nice leisurely little 100-mile run or 62-mile run, we should be able to support that.
Awesome. No, that's cool. That's cool. You got a good plan. So there are plans beyond this year. You're not just saving it for 1 year. You are taking over for good, at least for the foreseeable future. And you are going to have a race one day that Erica will show up and she will do the 100-miler. But in 2 weeks, Erica, you're going to go and do the 50K.
He's throwing me under the bus. Let me recover from all of my races this year.
As of today, she can still sign up, right?
She can still sign up. Sign-ups are open.
Tell us about like your cutoffs. How many? Like, what's the field size? What are some of the details about this race that we can tell our listeners?
So we have very liberal cutoffs. We have
That's great news. That's
very,
where I'm
very
like, yes, liberal
cutoffs. 19 hours. Probably misspeaking. All doable times. You need to average a 18-minute mile to make our cutoffs.
Okay.
And 32 hours. I know 32 hours for sure on the 100-miler.
Also great news.
You've got plenty of time. I said it's sneaky hard, but you got about 8,000 to 10,000 feet, depending on your GPS device. We all know runners love to argue who has the more accurate device. I'm a Coros guy. It tells me I got about 8,500 feet of net gain and loss over the course. 5 loops. You're not going to get bored of the scenery. It's constantly changing. We have the best aid stations out there. We got 3 different fully manned, fully stocked aid stations on the course. So you never go more than about 7 miles between aid stations where you can get anything from the most delicious quesadillas out there.
I was going to ask what's the food.
I'm like, yes, tell me more about the food. That's a
we
selling
do have
point
bacon,
for sure. Oh, yes.
Bacon, soup, all your standard fares. Of course, we got your PB&Js and your bananas and your orange slices. You can feel like you're at your kid's soccer game and eat some orange slices. There's
candy?
A rumor
you got
that
candy?
I know for a fact that at least the start-finish line aid station, we do have adult beverages as well. If you're one of those ultra runners that likes a little adult painkiller sometime around the 80-mile mark, we can hook you up.
Yes.
So good times had by all. It's the most fun you can have legally in the lower 48, at least according to one guy who may be a little bit biased, given that he co-owns and co-race directs the event.
Well, he knows best then, of course.
So for all you who are going to be there on race day and you'll be upset when there's no start line parking, as Wes talked about, remember rule number one. Rule number one is be nice to volunteers, and Wes will be at that parking lot. So be nice to Wes and be nice to everyone there, the runners, the crew, and keep your ears open, listen to instructions. I am looking at the rules. It's really cool.
Is rule number 2, don't shit on the trail?
No, but it's don't transfer your bib to somebody else.
Oh.
Rule number, I love how you guys word some of these, and maybe your trail wife did this before you as the website. Looks really nice. Rule number 6 is your pup is adorable, but he or she is not allowed. And then you mentioned cutoffs. All the cutoffs are there. I'm not going to bore you with that stuff, but this is so cool, man. This is your pride and joy. You love this. I think that's awesome that you're taking this over. And we've had people tell us about this race already. John Calabrese once said how much he loves this race and he doesn't want it was in fear of going away, and you and your buddies saved it, and you're going to keep this going. And I think that's so cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to pump your tires for that because, you know, when you have something that great, you don't want to lose it. And when it's like your baby, you're doing an awesome thing here.
There's so few things in the world, it seems like sometimes, that bring people joy. And we all know that this race and this event, we have people that have never run it, but who have volunteered at all 7 iterations that have gone down, because it brings them joy. So when we thought about it, I mean, it really wasn't even a decision. When it came down to, hey, this thing may die, we said, nope, not on our watch. We're taking this thing over and we're going to keep it going, not just for this year, but for as long as it continues to bring people joy. We're going to find a way to make the first weekend in December Devil Dog weekend in Prince William Forest Park.
Love it.
That really says something about your race if the volunteers keep coming back, because they are a huge piece of the backbone of that race. So as long as they are happy and they enjoy it, that just tells you something about the race itself.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Both you, Pat, and Justin. That's so cool. Good luck with Devil Dog. I think next year we should get either Pat or Justin on the podcast earlier and pump the tires for this race again. It sounds so cool. I am going to push Erica towards doing it. I think
it will be a blast. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you can get Karen to go out there with you, and we can bring some people from the pod.
Absolutely would. That would be so fun.
It looks so cool. It's in Virginia, so it's not that far away. It's Triangle, Virginia. Where in Virginia is that?
Well, in the Northern Virginia area, you have to talk like you're from California. And you don't talk about how far something is. You talk about how long it takes to get there. So we are only about 20 miles south of D.C. Depending on what day and time you're trying to make that commute, it could take you upwards of 2 hours to get there. But it's located at exit 150 off of I-95 South. So when you're coming, if you've driven 95 South anytime over the past decade, you've seen the big, the National Museum of the Marine Corps kind of rising out of the ground off on your left side as you head south. It's that exit. Get off at exit 150, bang a right, and head on down to Cabin Camp 2 and 5, and that's where you'll find Devil Dog headquarters for at least about 4 days. And the trails, even if you can't come run the race, it's only about a mile to get to the actual entrance to the park. We got trails for days. We mapped it out one time. I think it was 50 miles to run every single trail in the park, including a few that you may or may not be supposed to, but they don't really close them off so you can get to them.
Okay. That is a lot to work with.
Erica, this is too easy. You have a direct flight from Manchester to DC, Manchester, greatest airport in the world. Fly Southwest for $99. Get a rental car, shoot down there, even an Uber, run a 50K, and then get your direct flight back. This is too easy. I will pick you up and drop you off at the airport. It's so easy. $99 flights, Erica. You can do this.
I do have a lot of Southwest points.
I can vouch 100%. We have had quite a few Ubers drop people off at the start. I don't know about pick up from the finish, but we have had drop off at the start. And if you can get down there, we'll figure out a way to get you back to the airport.
Do it.
Oh, I'm gonna have to ponder. I can't commit. I have a little gamophobia on this one, but who's to say I won't go stalking the ultra sign up page?
We've got bunk houses at the start finish line. You can sleep there, wake up, go for a little stroll in the woods with your closest friends who you've never met before, but you're going to be best of buds with by the time you finish.
I love making trail friends. Oh, it's one of my favorite things.
It almost sounded like you said naked trail friends, and naked trail friends, especially naked trail friends that help you out with lube. Thanks, Tony. Are the best.
Who knows what I'm going to hallucinate out in the middle of the night out there? So they may be naked trail friends, but that would be interesting.
All right, let's go from naked trail friends to ducks on your underwear. I want to share this photo.
That's a transition if I ever heard one.
It's not underwear. Those are silkies.
Those are like 3-inch inseams. That is underwear.
Yeah, they're silkies. They're the most comfortable running shorts out there.
Real men can wear 3-inch inseams.
I just said it looks like from far. It looks like a pair of fun boxers, man.
Can I just say, look at your calves? Holy crap. I wasn't even looking at the shorts. I was like...
She's looking at your legs.
I mean,
so
they were there for me to look at.
Wife.
Let's see.
That's still Tony.
I got ducks all over.
There's
American
more ducks on this
ducks.
pair here. Yeah.
Wow.
So what's the thing with ducks here? You have you even have a hoodie here with ducks, and you have pink duck shorts. You got a lot of ducks. Oh, you have a fanny pack with ducks on it.
100%. So the best kept secret on Maryland's Eastern Shore, American flag ducks, is a little race that goes down every February called the Algonquin.
Go back to those bright pink ones. I want to see the bright pink ones.
Oh, there's bright pink with ducks. We got ducks everywhere. I got a hat with ducks on it.
It's awesome.
But the Algonquin 50K is the mastermind of the one and only race dictator. Trent Swanson founded it in 2017. So right after Devil Dog started, the Algonquin 50K started. I was lucky enough to get out there in 2018. This is back before the race sold out within 12 hours of opening up. I went out there in 2018 and was lucky enough to have a really good day, set my 50K PR, and had a beautiful weather day too. And then in 2019, he started what's called the Delmarva Ultra Challenge, or the Duc for short, DUC.
It's a great transition. I was going into the duck after this.
with the help of the one and only General Gabe is the director of the Duc, and you show up to packet pickup, and at 8 p.m. if you are a Duc, you get an email telling you where to go for race start, and you show up and you run a 50K at night. And then you get in your car, you drive your happy little butt over to the state park where the Algonquin 50K starts, and you run the Algonquin 50K, and they add the two times together, and you get your 100K. I have been lucky enough to make it in thrice and finish twice. 2021, so February on the Eastern Shore is going to be one of two things. It's going to be absolutely amazing, like perfect running weather, 60s, a little bit of a breeze, trails are beautifully groomed, or it's going to be absolute dog shit.
Oh, no.
2021 was my first year doing the Duc, and it was absolute garbage. We got a blizzard the week before. We got out there, it was below freezing, and we were talking about a 2-mile loop in Peru. Well, the course that the other thing about the Duc, the first 50K on the Duck is it changes every year. And it's
Really?
limited only by the imagination of the general.
This
in
sounds so
2020
sadistic.
in 2021, he had come up with, I think it was a 6-mile loop, which included a climb up Mount Trashmore, which if you've been in any coastal areas, you know that the only altitude climb you can find is usually at the dump.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
all about 2 miles of it were on a mountain bike pump track. So if you've ever ridden or run a mountain bike pump track, you know it is just constantly up, down, sharp turn, up, turn, turn, turn.
I've done that actually.
I lost track at about 100 turns in 1 mile.
Wow.
And the first, when we started, the first loop wasn't too bad. It was snow on the ground, feet were cold. Get to about mile 3. And if you know anything about Algonquin, if you don't know, let me tell you, you're going to get wet. Just brace yourself. You're going to
Well,
get
I
wet.
don't know, so the more details you got, feel free.
So we got to about mile 3, and I'm just thinking, this is way, way too, yes, the pump track sucks. All these turns suck, but I haven't gotten wet yet. And someone had just nicely put one of those folding yellow wet floor signs out and said, danger. Get up to it, take a step, go to my knees in the water. Just knee deep water for about 100 yards. Come out, run a little bit farther, more knee deep water. Keep going. Oh, there's a pond. Why would we go around the pond? Let's just go through the pond. So the back half of the loop was just wet, 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 wet. My tummy sometimes doesn't like me very much during races. So I was leading the first 50K at about the 3 loop mark, and then my guts just absolutely blew up. I had to stop and make poopies. I think 3 or 4 times, which cost me the win.
No.
The next day at Algonquin, I recovered. I went back out for the 50K. Pat and Justin were there with me. They will never go back with me, nor will they ever allow me to talk them into signing up for a race, because it was what we refer to as the snow bomb year of Algonquin.
Oh, no.
Because the water was not only mid-thigh deep in some of the mud holes, but the mud was just absolutely shoe-sucking, and it was cold. It was hovering around the freezing mark the entire day. Justin had a great day. He beat Wardian. He came in third. Wardian finished fourth. So Justin took third in the 50K that year, and I was what shall forever be known as the Prince Duck, the second place Duck in 2021. Then I went back in 2022, and we had the opposite. We had a beautiful year, 60 degrees. I wore those blue duck shorts the entire time. Didn't even have to put leggings or anything on, and came away with the dub that year. The first 50K was amazing. He'd gotten permission to run on some property that nobody had ever run on before. And it was just one giant loop with some out and backs on it. There was no seeing the same stuff over and over again. And then we went and ran Algonquin, and I don't even know if my feet got wet that year.
That's good
if they
news.
did, it was because you have 2 choices. A lot of it's on. It's not single track. I call it fire road or fire breaks.
We have a lot of that here.
Kind of a rail trail for us, yeah.
A little bit. It's very sandy out there, so it gets rutted out pretty bad. You get these.
That makes sense.
You get big old puddles in it, and you either run through the puddle or you try to go around it. If you go around it, there's a metric crap ton of briars. So the saying for Algonquin goes, it's mud or blood, you choose. I always choose mud, but lucky enough to come in to better my time from the year before and get the win in 22. And then this spring, February of 2023, number one, it was about 20 degrees. And when I tell you that Gabe and Trent love water and ducks love water, so why
Oh
wouldn't
no.
we?
Uh-huh.
When we hit the first water hole at about 2 miles, and this was not a loop course again. It was a big old loop with some mountain backs. I heard a tinkling sound when I stepped onto it. Stepped in, I should say, stepped into it before I stepped onto it because the
Uh-huh.
puddles were frozen, and it just kept getting colder all night. To the point that by the end, when I stepped on one of the puddles, and I'm not a small guy, I didn't sink into the puddle. The ice didn't break. I was able to run across it.
Yikes.
That combined with, I did finish in time to make it to the Algonquin start. But somebody once told me that discretion is the better part of valor. And I was like, I could either break the law and get there in time to start, but my shoes are literally frozen to my feet right now. I cannot untie them to change them.
Oh wow.
Nor my water bottles have been frozen for about the last 10 miles. So I haven't had anything to drink. I could break the law and get there, but I would have to start exactly like I am now, which is dehydrated, undernutritioned, and not ready to run.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to go turn my bib in and unfortunately take the L on this one.
That's a
But
smart decision. That would have been bad news. Bad news bears. But so what are we talking for? How much time would you normally have in between the two races? Because one's a night race, one's a morning race, but like it all depends on how fast you run. Like what time would would it always start at the same time, the duck one? Or like I'm just trying to figure out what you have for time.
it generally starts around the same time. I think he gives you a 6 hour cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
So dependent on how far it is from where the duck is to where Algonquin is.
Oh,
I think
I got to factor that in.
usually he tries to leave about 2 hours to make the transition. I think the best I've had was about 6 hours, and the worst I've had was about 4 hours in between.
Gotcha.
So it's incredible. It's another one of those races that I just absolutely love it to death. In fact, I think I've mentioned it to Trent. I haven't told him 100% yet, but Duck Weekend this year, when I got here to Okinawa, I started looking like, okay, what can I do? What can I go run? And there's
Yeah.
not a lot of trail, a lot of road, and there is one fastest known time, one FKT aboard the island of Okinawa. There is a
Okay.
100-mile FKT from the northern tip of the island. You follow the west coast about halfway down, then you hop across and go to the southern tip along the eastern coast. And I haven't made it official, so I guess I'm making it official now. On Duck Weekend, I am going to attempt the Okinawa FKT from north to south. It's currently set. Some Air Force dude set it last year at 24:37, I think. So don't know what kind of shape I'm going to be in. Definitely not going to be in 18-hour shape. Probably not even going to be in 20-hour shape. But
Mm-hmm.
if I can run it around 22, I think I'll take the FKT and call
How
it a dub.
cool. That
So
is such an awesome thing.
I'm looking at Google Earth right now, Google Maps. You're going to go north to south from the top of Okinawa to the bottom of the island?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to do some
So
yeah, how far is that?
it's the route that the creator built is right at 100 miles. It's like
Okay.
100.3 or something. I think it's 75 if you Okinawa 58 is the north south expressway.
Yep.
Expressway being a liberal term, it's not an expressway at all. I think it's 75 miles, but when you add the east west cut across about halfway down the island, it takes it up to right at 100. So
Wow.
good job on him designing a 100-miler on
That's going
Okinawa.
to be so cool if you leave there with the FKT, baby.
It's the plan.
That is really cool.
I also learned that Okinawa is an island today.
I don't think I knew that either. I was just over in Tokyo earlier this year, and you could have said, "Oh yeah," and I'd be like, "Where is that?" I was right here.
Well,
Were you up there?
Japan is an
Yeah, I
island,
don't.
actually, now
Geography
that I
is
think about
not
it.
my strong suit. I'm sorry,
It's
but
about a 2 hour and 10 minute flight from Tokyo to Okinawa.
Yeah, it's
So,
actually looks quite a ways. Like, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know. I'm learning a lot today, man. I am learning a lot. Geography. Dude, this has been awesome. Let's talk about a few more things before we let you go, though. Tell me about DQTC and America, which is
all right.
Marines Ultra Runners Club of America.
So I'll start with the easy one. Merca is just a bunch of us that wear the Marine Corps tree suit or have worn the Marine Corps tree suit in the past, who like doing these silly things that we call ultra marathons. Only prerequisite is you have to have run at least a 50K. I think we have bent the rules a couple times and let some people who did anything greater than 26.2 but less than 31.1 in. Primarily focused around the socials, the Facebook, the Instagrams, the Stravas. Was very, like everything else, kind of rides the sine wave of we're very involved, we're doing a lot of stuff. But it's been great. I've met a lot of people to run with through the group. We have some really super speedy fast. I don't know if y'all have heard of Mackay Clemens. He won the JFK 50 miler last year. I believe he
that's
won.
awesome.
He won and set the course record at San Diego 100 this year. He's a Marine. He did his 4 years honorably, got out. He's going to school now in San Diego. I got to run with him. He was kind enough to not leave me in his dust while we were both stationed in California together. So I've gotten to meet people like him. I've gotten to meet your typical mid packers, your back of the packers. Tony, my trail wife, is an honorary member. So that's Merca. DQTC, on the other hand, is the craziest group of runners you'll ever meet that runs at 4:30 in the morning. In 2017, my aforementioned friend James, who signed me up for JFK 50, was in town, and we went for a run up in Manassas. One day he was in town for a wedding. We go for a run on Friday. He goes, "Okay, I'll come down on Saturday closer to you, and we'll go for a run before I go to the wedding." He's like, let's do something quick. I'm like, all right. So I went on Strava and I started researching some segments that we can go chase. And I found a couple, and I'm like, yeah, I think those are within my skill range right now. Let's do it. Well, James had a little bit too much to drink at the rehearsal dinner, and about 30 minutes before we're supposed to link up and run, I get a text going, "Hey, man, I'm not gonna make it." So I head out. I'm a little bit upset. My buddy doesn't want to run with me. I'm pissed off. Let's go. So head out and hit Oak Ridge Trail. And that's kind of the segments that I've targeted is I'm going to go south to north and then turn around and go north to south on Oak Ridge and see what I can do. And even though it was crap weather, I got freaking super lucky and I sniped a couple of the segments. Go home, upload to Strava. Yay, I got the crown. Oh, yay for me. I'm kind of sort of fast. And a couple hours later, this guy named Justin Contois comments on my run. "Hey, great job. Way to steal the crown. Are you local? Question mark. I'm like, yeah, I'm local. I live just the other side of 95. We got a group of us that link up at 4:30 in the mornings and run in the park if you're ever interested."
Crazies.
So imagine that. Well, so Justin's a teacher. He's got to get
so
to
he's
school.
got to do the early stuff. Yeah.
Get out of school early, though. Come on. I'm just kidding.
A lot of the rest of the club are DC commuters, so they got to get that run in before they hit the 95 corridor headed north. So we took the conversation off Strava. I can't remember if he dropped his email or his phone number or whatever in there. So I reached out. And he's like, "Yeah, we're running at 4:30 Monday morning. We meet at Dairy Queen." like, cool. Hey, babe, I'm going to go meet these people at Dairy Queen at 4:30 in the morning and go for a run in the park. Como say what? Like, can you please drop a pin at least where your truck is so that I know where to go looking for you if you don't show back up after meeting these
Right.
people at 4:30 in the morning and going for a run? And I show up and Justin says, yeah, it's Monday. We're just going to go for a little easy run. Yeah.
And then
About halfway in, I am dying. I'm thinking, oh my God, if this is what these dudes call an easy run, I am not. This will be the only time I ever run with these fools because this is not an easy run. Get back. We've hit like 7 segments. I am now on the leaderboard of all 7 segments. But I survived, so I get an invite to come back out later in the week. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll give it one more shot before I bail on these dudes because that was ridiculous. Well, come to find out, I was being indoctrinated into the club, and oh, by the way, maybe punished for stealing somebody's segments because it had not been an easy run at all. I think I met Pat the second run. And we are the OGs, the original gangsters of the Dairy Queen Track Club. We're not the first 3 members, but we are the 3 that named it.
there you go.
We link up at DQ. We'll see you at the Q. So why not Dairy Queen? And then we thought about Trail Club. We thought about all these other things. I was like, hey, if you go harken back to the early days of running around the Boston area, Track Smith likes to talk about the track clubs. And track clubs ran all kinds of things. They ran roads, they ran trails, they did cross country. So
there you
we
go.
run
the gamut.
Let's be the Dairy Queen Track Club. We a little bit less active these days, but we're going to have a strong representation out there. The start finish line aid station will be the DQTC aid station at Devil Dog this year. And that was one of the things that Pat and Justin and I discussed of like, hey, we can't do this without the club. So we're gonna have to beg and plead and say, please, you guys say you're part of the club. Let's do this. Come help us out.
Well, I have to say you had me at Dairy Queen, but then you lost me at 4:30 in the morning. So.
We have a group of girls here, and they call themselves the 440 Club because they always meet at 4:40 in the morning, and they go for a run. And we still yet to join them, even though we say we will one day.
No,
we've yet
it's not.
to.
Yep. I never volunteered that. I'm not an early morning person at all. I would be sleep running like you did during your trail race. It wouldn't be pretty. So I'll stick to my evening runs and I can do an early morning race, but race day's a different story.
Yep.
Wes, do you know who your doppelganger is? I can't say it. Do you know who your doppelganger is? Who your celebrity lookalike is?
I have no clue.
I found it. I am video podcast here. I'm like, you look like someone I know, and I found it right there.
Oh, hey.
Are we on board?
No, not that horrible movie.
Oh, not the
movie.
Just the person.
I'll take Jake. Is it Jake Gyllenhaal?
That's Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'll take that, but not Jarhead. No,
you know what?
A good movie.
You know what a good Jake Gyllenhaal movie is that no one really knows about? It's called End of Watch.
I was gonna say Nightcrawler. That was a crazy one. Anyway.
No, you were thinking I was gonna say Brokeback Mountain, but End of Watch is an awesome movie.
End of Watch was a great flick. End of Watch and Nightcrawler, both of those. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. No, Jake Gyllenhaal, your doppelganger, however you pronounce that.
Doppelganger.
Thank you. I have a horrible time pronouncing words. Everybody knows that, but whatever.
You weren't even
words
close.
Is hard.
He was mildly close. Words is hard. I mean, what is it that? No, I'm not even gonna get to that. But I wrote down what you were talking about earlier, the Coastal Georgia Greenway. We never talked about that.
Yeah, that was the one thing, and I'll keep it quick because unfortunately it is a race that's gonna die.
Oh no!
But it's a very special race to me because it runs through my hometown. The Coastal Georgia Greenway 155 is put on by a group out of Savannah called the Rough Runners. Um, it all started from a crazy idea, like most ultra runs do, of can we run across the state of Georgia?
Wow.
And they alternate directions every year. They start either on Hutchinson Island, which is in the middle of the Savannah River, aka the border with South Carolina, and run along combination of I-17 I-17, Georgia 99, all the way to St. Mary's, Georgia, which is on the border with Florida. So all the way north to south, or they flip it and go south to north in alternating years. And it's a very bare bones race. It's not your typical trail ultra where you got aid stations with chips and M&Ms and pretzels and all that good trash. It's all self-supported, so you got to have a crew. The only thing you got to do is, number one, stay on the route, and number two, check in at 6 different checkpoints along the way where you hand them your race book and they stamp it with something cool, like an alligator, like a stamper of an alligator, because you may very well see alligators along the route, or a shrimp boat. In Darien, it's a shrimp boat, and I'm a big fan of shrimp and boats. But I had the opportunity. It was great because most of my extended family have heard me talk about ultras, but never seen it. And in 2021, I had the opportunity to run the 155, which is the full length of the state. And my whole family, mom, dad, uncle, sisters, brothers, all joined in and crewed me for that one. We went north to south that year, and it's since been broken, but with the assistance of a great crew and my dad's brother, who had never run more than a marathon, who ended up pacing me for the last 50K.
Wow.
I'll use the word pacing liberally because it was a lot of power walking, aka
No shame.
slow hiking.
No shame.
But he kept me going, and I was lucky enough to set the course record that year. It was broken this year, but hey, I had it for my own place in time, and then I turned around in 2022 and did the 100-miler from south to north. It started, instead of starting in St. Mary's, we started in Brunswick, Georgia, and followed the same route back north. And had another rough day there. The heat, sneaky heat in Georgia in March, got me, but was able to set the course record there as well. Next year, they're actually moving it to October of 2024, and it's going to be the last race because the race directors have other things that they're looking to do. So if there's anybody out there thinking about taking the leap and going beyond the 100-mile distance, cannot say enough good things about it. Again, it's a little bit unique. Like, you can't show up and expect that all you need to bring is your vest and a water bottle because you're going to get everything else you need on the course. You can make that happen so long as you bring some cash money records to stop at 7-Eleven and buy snacks.
Yeah.
But you probably need a crew to do it. But I mean, there are 800 feet of gain in
That's it. Wow.
156 miles. It's
I like those numbers.
flat. It's paved. If you're thinking about making the jump, look up CGG 155 next October, and go make the last edition of that race something super special and super fun for the team down there, Dan and Carrie, that put it together, because it's a great race. And I'm not only saying that because I've won it twice, but because it's
not
awesome.
a big deal.
Right.
Unfortunately, a little humble brag. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to run it next year because it'll be again in the midst of my kids' senior football season. But I will go back one day and unofficially run it because Dan, number one, the buckles are the coolest buckles out there. And he has gone so far as to make a 310 buckle for those who have done it twice. There are only 4 people who have done it twice. And I aim to add my name to that list at some point, whether officially or, as y'all now know, I don't mind doing a lot of unofficial as hell crap. So even if my name doesn't get on something, the race will be dead. So I'll just shoot Dan a message and say, "Hey man, you got any of those buckles left? Can I buy one off of you? Because I just finished." And I'm sure he'll oblige.
There you go.
That'd be cool. Wes, one thing I do is I like to go through Instagram and creep, and I love doing it. And I scroll
Was there
through.
anything on there that wasn't duck shorts and stuff?
There are some other things. There are some other
Okay.
pants and stuff, but I found something else. So I go digging deep through your Instagram, and sometimes I find something recent, sometimes old, and I want to know the story behind this photo. And I found one that I don't think we've covered. Here's my photo. It is like a whiteboard, and you wrote down world record attempt in progress. Please be mindful of runners in lanes 1 and 2. Tell me the story behind this board.
So that was the end of July last year. Good friend of mine, Jala Shaw, who actually was an instructor at one of the coaching certs that I've done in the past. She mentioned to me when I did the coaching cert that she had this crazy idea that Guinness World Records certifies different rucking world records. So carrying weight on your back while you run/walk. And the one she was targeting was distance run in 24 hours with a 20-pound pack, which doesn't seem like much, but 20 pounds is 20 pounds. So we were supposed to do it March, April timeframe of last year. And instead we said, no, that's too easy. We're going to do it in the dead of summer on a track in Quantico, Virginia. Because if you want to get it certified by Guinness, there's all kinds of rules. You have to film the entire 24 hours. You can't have somebody follow you with the camera. The camera has to be able to see you at all times, blah, 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 blah. So we found out that really the only way to do that is to do it on a track. So I ran. I won't get into it. Jala ended up in the hospital because it was the hottest day of the year.
Oh no.
On a rubberized track, which does nothing except absorb heat and reflect heat. And the absolute worst part of it, I thought I had set the new world record. Guinness told us it was 62 miles. I had a horrible day. Even with the support of all the Dairy Queen Track Club folks that came out and cheered me on and massaged my legs when they literally would not stop twitching because they were cramping so bad that evening. I went in with grand goals thinking I could probably get like 120 or something. I got a whole whopping 68.75 in 24 hours. But I'm like, hey, I broke the record. They told me the record's 62. What they did not tell us is that someone had submitted a record for 80 something a couple weeks prior, and they just hadn't certified it yet. You would think that if you're on record of I'm going to do this on this day, they would tell you when the goalposts move. But they didn't. So unfortunately, did not end up with the world record. But yes, ran for 24 hours on a track with a 20-pound backpack on in July.
Oh, Wes.
I've done smarter things in my life.
You're just going to have to do it again.
Oh.
As Ricky Bobby says, you're only the first loser.
It's on the list. It's going to happen. I don't know when right now.
Yeah.
Well, you got plenty of time, and that's just, it blows my mind. You've got some crazy endurance. All right. I don't know if Eric prepped you for this. Did he?
It's in the notes.
Okay, good. I didn't even flip my pages, so we were just going with the conversation. So my final question is...
I did the notes. She gave me shit for not giving her the notes in time. The one time I do it, she doesn't read the notes.
I read them, but I just didn't follow them tonight. Anyways, we have a Spotify playlist, and we like to invite our guests to add a song to it. So it could be anything that you're just feeling at the moment, something that gets you motivated. Would you like to add a song to it?
So I also did not, even though I made my notes immediately below closing out, I did not read that note until about 3 minutes ago.
That is okay. You can take your time.
Going, what the heck am I going to put on there? I have very eclectic taste in music.
That is perfect.
I've been blessed with a family that taught me how to broaden my experiences. So I'm actually going to give you two.
Sure.
in dark places in ultra marathons, when I get really, 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 really dark, I like to flip over to the complete symphonic recording of Les Mis. So I'm going to say "Who Am I" by Jean Valjean is the first one.
You got it.
And then the second one is from The Man of La Mancha, and it is just The Man of La Mancha.
I can honestly say nobody has chosen those, so those are uniquely yours, and you get two, my friend.
That was the other thing I was thinking about. Like, what am I going to say that like Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba? I'm sure freaking somebody has come up with that one.
Actually, nobody's done that one either.
I don't know the name of it, but I will walk 500 miles, and I would.
I don't even think that one's on there.
No. But you know what you just made me think of is a previous guest of ours from West Virginia, Michaela. Her song was "It's Raining Tacos." And Erica, we were talking earlier as we were doing the Tros for Justine's episode. We have a friend who's raising money to run the Boston Marathon, and there was this whole thing about, if you give me this much money, I will run to the theme song of DuckTales the entire half marathon.
DuckTales.
$1,000 for "It's Raining Tacos." Take it or leave it. It's raining tacos.
Oh man, I don't think I could do that. That's that is an aggressive song. After a while, you're just like, my ears. Sorry, Michaela.
Wes, this was great. Last thing, what is next for Wes Faulk?
It's February 7th or 8th. I haven't decided which day yet, because the 8th will still be the 7th back in the States.
The FKT attempt?
When I attack the FKT.
Yeah.
I have considered, since I'm going to be alone here over the holidays, doing the treadmill ultra, and they instituted 100. They brought around a 150 this year, where you have the same time limit, but it's 150. But I haven't paid my money yet on that one, as they say, so I'm not fully committed. But for certain, February 7th or 8th, the Okinawa FKT north to south, 100 miles. We'll see how it goes, in conjunction with the Duc and the Algonquin.
You're a different breed, man. You and Erica both different breeds.
Oh no, he's on a whole other plane than me. Maybe someday I'll get to that level, but we'll see.
This was so cool, man. Don't
forget, everybody, look into Devil Dog. You got to go run that. That's going to be very cool.
Yeah, Erica,
so I hope
you got to go run
it.
We have 28 spots left. I don't know when this will air, but registration is going to close out on the 24th. I have talked to my co-race directors about working the Ultra Sign Up magic and extending that through the Thanksgiving weekend until that Monday, but I can't say for certain whether that's going to happen, because one of our volunteers is a stickler for details, and we're worried that she's going to get mad at us if we change the date that has been set in stone for forever.
Yeah.
But we have 28 spots left across 50K, 100K, 100 milers. You don't have to, if you want to sleep in, the shuttles for the 50K are at 6:15 and 6:45. Come run through the forest with us. You'll be glad you did. It's going to be the most fun you can have legally in Northern Virginia. I can almost guarantee it.
I love it.
This will drop. It will be the 28th when everyone was listening. So just past that date, but
maybe we can drop some teasers or something along the line. I think we can manage that. We can clip. He'll clip it, and he can do some. Instagram
You hear
stuff.
her saying, "I'll do it." She's like, "Eric will do."
I don't know how. He's the one with the files. I don't even have the raw stuff to work with.
The files are in the computer. Oh, the files.
I can email them to her. She can do it.
Thank you for that.
Well, this was so much fun. We will get this out before the race to pump the tires, and let's get one of your boys, Pat or Justin, on next year, months in advance, like maybe September, for the race, and
we'll really pump the tires then.
And by
maybe
then,
I'll already have been signed up for that.
Yeah,
for a while.
by then Erica will have been signed up, and I will send her with. Since she's giving me jobs to do, I'm going to give her a job. When she goes down there, she's bringing microphones and a recorder, and she's going to get some content.
We are very American and very patriotic at Devil Dog. Not to say we don't have an international flavor. Our
Mhm.
DFL last year was from China,
Mhm.
which was super cool. But we registration opens every year on the 4th of July, so get in
Yes,
early.
that's cool.
It's
Can't forget that then. There we go.
Independence Day. Sign up on the 4th, and because we are not associated with but related to the Marine Corps, we always do our swag reveal on November 10th, which just passed on Friday, which is the Marine Corps' birthday. So
That's awesome.
yeah, July 4th, November 10th, first weekend in December. It's Devil Dog Weekend, baby. Let's go.
Last question. Who is Blair Falk?
Blair Falk is my dad or my son, because being from South Georgia, they wanted to give me the same first name as my dad, but they knew if they gave both the middle first and the middle, I was going to be stuck with that unfortunate moniker of Junior for my entire life. So they changed the middle name. And I did the same thing. Gave my son the same first name, changed the middle name. That way he's not a junior, he's not a third, he's just Blair. So I grew up always going by my middle name, but I think the truth of what you're asking, who is Blair Falk? I am, number one, a dad and a husband, and I'm a little bit of a crazy person who likes to run distances that everybody goes, I can't even drive that far without taking a break. And I go, well, it is what it is. I'm a special kind of touched in the head. I'm a Marine for at least a little bit longer, and I like to think I'm a good dude to hang out with. So come hang out with us.
It's an awesome answer. It was not what I was expecting. I was struggling doing my homework to find some of your results, and I called John Calabrese, who helped us out, and he goes, "Oh, I think he goes under Blair Falk on Ultra Sign Up." I'm like, there he is. I found
That's why
him.
he went creeping. He's like, ooh, okay.
But your answer was so much better, man. I love that. That was great.
So yeah, now I have to go by my government name on the websites, because it ties to like credit cards and things. And most of these races, I don't know why, I want you to pay money to go run 100 miles through the woods. Like,
Hate it.
who would do that? But yeah, no, good job. Seriously impressed by your level of private investigatorship.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I wouldn't call myself a PI, but I did it. Full disclosure, I did it all today.
Well, you done good, mate. You done good.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man. This was a great get. Thank you, John Calabrese. We barely even talked about John, but somehow you guys know each other. We'll connect those dots another time. You've been so gracious with your time. We're almost at 2 hours. This was so much fun.
I truly appreciate you guys. Number one, flexing for me, not going when we were supposed to because the colonel wanted to talk to me, and then dealing with my phone overheating. And it's been a pleasure. I think we've just barely scratched the surface. We could probably go for another hour, but y'all need to get to bed, and I probably ought to get back to work before somebody wonders where the heck I disappeared to.
Yeah, it is definitely past our bedtime, and it is probably lunchtime for you, or you are a full day
Getting there,
ahead.
yeah.
It's so cool, man. This is so cool. We're doing this. You're over there. We're over here. That's awesome. So, Erica, save me, end this for me.
Once again, thanks for spending so much time with us. We think you're such an awesome guy, and you've got such big things ahead of you. That FKT, you're gonna break that. I mean, it's all in your hands, man. So thank you again, and we can't wait to see how everything goes.
Yeah, good luck with Devil Dog. Good luck, everyone. Thank you, Wes. Everyone, that was so cool. Wes Faulk on the On the Runs podcast.
Thank you, guys.
Wes, thank you so much for just being you. You are probably one of the coolest people we've had the opportunity to talk to. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. And everybody, you have to look up the Devil Dog Ultra.
You're going.
I sadly cannot make it this year.
Wait, what?
I cannot make it this year. No, I can't. I'm so out of vacation time. But
it's the
I
weekend.
will keep it on my radar. Still gotta travel.
You told me this earlier.
Let's look at John. John, you are the one who needs to recruit all your friends in the area. You and Denise can go run it.
John Calabrese, yeah, man. Thank you for the awesome get. The guy was awesome. Wes was sick. I can't wait to talk to him more, maybe meet him. He'll be in the Boston area soon, but we'll get on his other buddies next year. We'll do some more promoting for Devil Dog. Unfortunately, like it's this weekend coming up. And we just talked to him last week. Registration closed around Thanksgiving. So it's a cool race. I think Erica will go in the future. She has to make some decisions. You're on the fence right now. Yeti 100. You're thinking about making a return.
You know, I said I wouldn't, but I really want to. Just because, A, it's an anniversary year, and 2, I want some more redemption on that one. I think I can do so much better. I've learned a lot, you guys. So, pros and cons. I'll make a list and try to think of something. But
keep saving that PTO, baby.
Oh yeah. Well, we got a lot of trips going on. I'm going to Ohio in May, and then we are going to Colorado. Yes.
Well, let's see what happens with Chicago. We're going to know in a couple weeks about
I'm
Chicago.
probably also going to Chicago, so.
But
decision day is the 8th.
The we depends on Chicago. If I get into Chicago, I don't know if I'm going to do Boulder. If I don't get into Chicago, I think I'm going to do Boulder.
Okay.
Try being me to get away for 2 weekends to go on a runningcation.
That is a lot for you. It is. But then there's Anchor Down, man. You can't let me down for Anchor Down.
But Anchor Down isn't a plane in a hotel and actually being away for days.
That's true.
I don't know. Maybe you might need someone for Anchor Down. We'll see. I love Anchor Down.
I'm planning this whole race calendar already. All these dates are flying around. Did you take advantage of any of the savings codes that have been going around for like Cyber Monday?
No, I don't have money.
That would involve committing to something. That's right. The only one that I actually took advantage of was I'm doing Eastern States 20 miler again because it's right before I'm doing the cheap marathon in April, early April, and that one is going to be a good training run.
So did you get a discount on the cheap marathon? It was already cheap enough. Like you had to take another discount.
Oh, well, no, I had already signed up for cheap and I got it for the $26.2. But I got a discount on the 20 miler. So that was nice.
Cool.
Still lots to think about for next year. It's coming up.
I want to pump the tires for something I did recently and it dropped today. I was on another podcast and it was so much fun.
I am so happy you sent me that link this morning. I listened to it on the car ride there. Will Run For. You guys did a great job with my good buddy Eric here. And also, I'm a little offended that you didn't choose me for your zombie apocalypse team. Like, what? Well, I don't know what I could really do. Maybe outrun you a little bit. So I would, or I could take you with me so we wouldn't get taken hostage by these zombies.
The thing is, we don't run fast. We don't run fast, so I needed to get some people who could help me, fight off the zombies.
You picked Woody Harrelson, so I don't think you could do any better than that.
Yeah, that was the best. That
was really good.
Yeah, I was like Erica's shit out of luck. That's right.
Was it Diana who said, just like, put me out of my misery? I don't want any of this.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, I'm with her. I'm with her 100%.
Yeah, so I had so much fun. I was on the Will Run For podcast, and they have a series called Inside the Runner Studio. So the 4 hosts, you have Mike, Aaron, Tom, and Diana, and they're super cool. And so they bring me in and they ask me a bunch of they give me a list of like 30 questions, and they ask me a couple of those, and then they ask me there's this. So they pick random ones. They don't ask me all 30. That would be a long episode but
they prepped you for it though, so that's kind of good. I
got to read
think
them
of what you were gonna say.
Yeah, I scanned through them. And then there's the last like 5 questions or so are always the same. So if you're on those last 5 questions, like what's your favorite word? What's your least favorite? What turns you on? What turns you off? Those are all there. So you guys got to check it out. I will link their podcast in our show notes. It was so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it this morning. And it was fun because I kind of forgot. I didn't forget, but as it's coming up, I'm like, oh yeah, we talked about this or we talked about that. And I offered your spare bedroom. I forgot I did that. And
I heard that.
And I'm like,
You're
Eric
so
has shit out of luck. Thank you for having me on the podcast, guys. Go check it out. Go check out the Will Run For family. They put on a good show, a little different than ours. Every other week is that Runner Studio, and then the weeks in between is kind of like what we do, but just the 4 of them chatting about what's going on in their lives. So it's like our Tros.
Nice.
I think would be the best way to compare it. I got to email them, but I was thinking, we talked about this a while ago. We're like, let's get Aaron on because you met Aaron at the Loop-de-Loopter last year in New Jersey, right? That was the race.
Yes. That was the one Rachel was actually running and I was just pacing with her. So
here's my thinking. Let's get Mike and Aaron on at the same time one day. And then let's do Tom and Diana as well. And then one day you want to do the Drunken podcast.
I think it would be fun.
They would be so game for it. And they're trying to get in the Mount Washington race. And whether we get in Mount Washington or not, if they do and they come here, it'd be fun to grab a couple microphones and do a Drunken podcast with them all in person.
That would be a blast. I'm in.
All right, cool. So if you, Mike, guys, if you guys get into Mount Washington, Erica has the spare bedroom. All four of you will fit in it very, very tightly. She's in it right now.
I'm getting like, what is it? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory vibes with all four of the grandparents like crammed in a bed together. I only have a double bed, guys. I'm sorry. So you guys might be fighting for some space, but I do have an air mattress. You can blow that up.
Erica would be a great host. Many options. So that was a lot of fun. I had a blast.
It was a great listen.
Yeah, you liked it. I'm glad you listened before. I'm like, I need you to listen before. I want to talk about it. So yeah, real quick, I'm going to ask you a couple questions about some they didn't ask me. Yeah. I'm looking at their list now. So like,
putting me on the spot.
Here's one I was not asked. What is your weirdest running habit?
Weirdest. Oh man. I don't even know.
Okay, I want to tell you mine because they didn't ask me this.
Yeah, you go. I wasn't prepped for these.
If my foot, like if my heel or something hits like my calf on the other leg, I have to scrape it with the opposite foot to the opposite leg.
You have to even it out?
Yes. I wanted to tell you that. It's my weirdest habit. When I'm running, if that leg hits, I'm like, oh, I got to get this one. Yeah, so it was a ton of fun, but that was my weird quirk I wanted to get out. We never talked about that, and I'm like, oh, that was a good one when I'm looking at my list. And
what would mine be? So when I go to do snot rockets, I can really only do it out of the right nostril. The other one, like, I can't do it. So I like can't breathe enough to get it to come out. So it usually just goes all over like my face. So I try to really, plus I have to do it like with the same, like my left hand has to plug the nostril. Is that weird? Like I can't do it with the opposite hand.
No, that is kind of weird. Yeah. You can't do it with your right hand.
Need more practice. I don't know. Those are good questions, though. Keep it up, guys.
You instantly had me thinking of the Titanic when they're hucking loogies off the balcony.
Oh, yeah. I cannot huck a loogie, though, for the life of me. I could be so sick and so congested and verklempt and stuff, but nope, cannot huck anything up. Just does not happen. That's a weird thing about me.
Yeah, very weird. We're weird. We're fun and we're weird. And we like it.
Weird. Whenever I think of that, I think of New Girl. Sorry, that's my favorite show. Any New Girl fans will know that scene.
Don't know it. Hey, how are you doing though? We had the white whale last week. No, that's going to come out next year, early next year. Has your heart
I told
rate?
You not to call her that. I have chilled. I did not do my homework assignment that you told me to do.
You never do. Well, actually, that's a lot you did this morning. You listened to the podcast. Yeah,
I pick and choose my homework assignments, but I have definitely chilled out. This one we're still keeping under wraps, right?
Yeah,
we're not really.
Yeah.
Because you guys have to wait until
let's talk about
the new
this,
year.
Though. You didn't want me to use the term white whale, and I put it in the intro, and you're like, do not do that. Do not call them a white whale. That is rude or whatever.
I feel like some people some people know what it means. I just wouldn't want to offend anybody in any way by calling them a whale, even though that's not what it means at all. I just wanted to cover all my bases and not burn any bridges before we even got to them, you know?
Well, I think we did pretty good. I was very nervous too.
Yeah.
And you know what the funniest thing was? And we both talked about it right before we hopped on. It's a podcast, but we both took a shower right before.
I put makeup on. I was wearing a nice sweater. And then you're like, why are you wearing that? You should wear like something else, something related. And I was like, should I? And then Good to know that they were also they were not dressed up either. So that was great.
Then I want to go back to the Will Run For podcast. My turn off. Did you hear about that? Are you on board with me? Are polo shirts totally like not cool?
You said it, and I instantly had visions of me from like 2006 because I have pictures of me with like puka shell necklaces. I think I had like the double popped collar, like, because that was like my party shirt. Like, I have to find that picture and I'll send it to you. It is very cringy, but it was the sign of the times. As for like Brandon wears polos and he looks nice in them, so I don't know.
That would explain why I'm not attracted to Brandon. He wears polo shirts.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's the
it.
reason.
I probably shouldn't have said anything. I don't want to give it away. Go check out that Will Run For podcast. It was, so you listened this morning. I actually listened on my drive home to refresh my memory. And yeah, we'll talk more about it later because I don't want to give anything away. It
was a lot of fun. I do have to just compliment them on their bleeping skills because you dropped a couple swears there and they bleeped them out and I laughed. So
I would do a really good job at beeping if we were a podcast, but you don't want to be a podcast. You just want to be
I don't. Motherfucking podcast. I don't know.
For those of you who don't know, I wouldn't let Erica swear for like the first 10 episodes. And she was like, dude.
I feel like I was afraid to do it. I don't know. You get more comfortable and then it doesn't matter anymore.
She kept asking me, when can I swear? Can I swear? I go, let's not swear. Let's not do it. No, why we got to swear? No, what? And then finally, I think around the Addie episode or just after, I was like, all right, let it fly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, so one other thing I want to mention, we're just on I don't know where we are right now.
Are we ever on a straight tangent?
I feel like
such thing as a straight tangent?
Yeah, I feel like right now we have zero structure. We're just like, we have 2 more episodes left in the year. We're going to do the best ofs and all this. And we might kind of be in end of the year mode already.
Let's table this until the new year, you guys.
Yeah, let's table it.
Table it.
I got an email from a guy today about a t-shirt that I'm sending him. And he just said to me, hey, do you guys have a Strava club or a group? And I'm like, no, but that's genius. Why haven't we done that?
Dude, so if we do a Strava club, could we do like challenges and stuff? Because with the new year coming, no matter what kind of mode I'm in, I always lose focus and I get so like unmotivated. So can we do something like that to just like keep us accountable,
like
or
within the app,
give incentives or something? I don't know how it works if you have your own club. Like
maybe.
I don't know.
We'll have to check it out. If you can do it, yeah, we can create a challenge. If not, let's just create one through the pod.
That's such a smart idea.
Right?
I really like that. I think that would be a great idea.
There's a guy named Brett. He reached out to me and he's like,
oh, sweet.
Hey man, I love the pod, want a t-shirt. And I was just like, yeah, Strava group. Let's do it. Guys, there'll be a Strava group by next week.
I will look into this.
Are you going to do your homework? Is this going to be homework? Are you going to give yourself an assignment here? Is that what you're doing? you're like,
if by play around with it or do my homework, you mean just f*** around and find out? Sure. I'm going to see what I can do. And I will try to see if I can add you as like an admin so we can both be a part of it, figure stuff out. Yeah, we'll play around.
Hey, you did. Okay, we are really all over the charts here. You did a Demented Santa run.
Oh, yeah. Rachel,
we should just start the Tros all over. Oh my God.
No, I'm going to go to bed. So Rachel organized a She Runs This Town.
I know I wasn't invited. What's up with me not being invited to these things?
She Runs This Town. This is a woman only.
Don't you need a photographer? I can get a wig and have some hair and I can take pictures.
It's funny you say that because we actually got the guy who works at the Christmas tree place behind the Demented Santa to take our picture, and he was like getting angles and sunlight, and he delivered. He understood the assignment. But she was holding a raffle, so anybody who showed up for that group run got entered into a raffle to win an entry to Revel White Mountains. So that was like a huge turnout, and was a lot of fun. I took myself out of the running because I could not do it. So I was just there for fun and just to be around people.
That's cool. And
it was a lot of fun.
she's like we talked about, the ambassador, and use the code
Mhm.
Rachel10 for 10% off.
Nailed it.
I could be a promoter. I
stuff.
can do ads. I can do ad reads. Anyone want to sponsor the podcast? UFOs. We can do some UFO reads. We can do it talking about feet.
Gross. Okay. The bearded runner here tagged me in a post today or in a story, and I was like, all right, again,
Hilarious.
your feet look better than mine do, and I cannot do an only feet or a feet finder or whatever. Let's not make this a thing, you guys. Let's drop it here.
No, let's make it a thing. I posted the poll too, and I was creative with the answers. It wasn't a yes and no. It was a yes, do it, make some money, or yes, do it, but have an alias. It was pretty close. Alias won. So you can go ahead, do your Feet Finder account and have an alias. You can be like Erica McFootsy or whatever.
Erica McFoot. Footy McFootface. What is that? No, like Bodie McBoatface. I want to not do that. I need a random investor to actually get me on there. I need like $1,000 check in my hand, and then I'll start posting feed pics.
Is anyone out
I'll
there?
donate it to the podcast.
Are there any takers? Is there anyone from Devil Dog? Is there anyone from Ohio? Is there anyone from the New England area?
No.
Anyone from the Boston Bulldogs that are part of the Bearded Runners running group? Any of you guys out there? Anyone got $1,000?
I will fully support. Anybody else can do it. I don't care. It's just not for me. So if you want your own Feet Finder page, you guys do you.
What if someone would give you 10 grand? If you were running in the Boston Marathon and you had to make that 10 grand and someone gave you 10 grand to do Feet Finder for a year, would you do it?
If I had to do Feet Finder for a year for $10,000.
No, and it doesn't go in your pocket. It just lets you run in the Boston Marathon.
What charity would it go to?
She's not saying no, guys. She is not saying no. We're just going to keep it there. Let her think about it, dabble it with it. All right. We're not going to give her the opportunity to say no. She hesitated. It's a maybe.
I say you people. It's you. It's you.
It's us.
You nasty.
It's us. It's everyone
nasty.
with me here. I love that people
Lord.
on that shit.
You
too.
people.
I don't know where else to go from here. I'm lost, guys.
That's our sign to wrap it up. Then we did our job for this week.
I'm sorry if these Tros suck, guys.
They can't all be winners, right? We do try, and then they just go off the rails.
We had our notes and we covered everything like the first 30 seconds. I was like, full moon, Thanksgiving, happy birthday, Lena. What did you eat? And then we're like, what are we going to talk about?
I did say that was chaos, but you're good at chaos.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we can call it a night.
Well, if we're calling it a night, guys, do me a favor. If you're someone new who found us through Wes and Devil Dog, you probably are not listening anymore because we're all over the map. But if you are, get yourself checked and follow that Instagram page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel that we're growing. And then if you really love this, if you're like, oh, these Tros are sick. You guys are spot on. You guys are perfect and structured, which, obviously.
We're the best.
Check us out on Patreon. Join our Patreon. I think we have 12, 11, maybe 13 people on there. I love it. We have an amazing podcast family. I love every one of you. We have one more episode of the year next week, and we are talking to him tomorrow. So it's going to be fresh and timely, and it's going to not be like a guy we interviewed a couple weeks ago or anything. It is going to be great. Erica, hydrate, because I want to see the tears.
Oh, no. We're a video podcast now. Oh. A lot has changed since the last time we talked to him. So, yeah, you guys are in for a treat. I'll make sure to have tissues and probably just like live inside my shirt.
You can work on your snot rockets out of your nose because you'll be laughing so much. Snot will be coming out of your nose. And you can be like, hold on, let me try my right hand and the other nostril. You can do it on video.
Insert name here. Would love that.
That would be perfect for like OTR After Dark. Oh, and then on Thursday, we are dropping our OTR Live with Jen Steele.
Excellent. I was
Yes.
like, wait a minute, what's this new After Dark thing? Is that like another OnlyFans page, sort of? Okay. Oh, I'm so tired, everybody.
OTR After Dark.
It's just me sleeping.
Guys, thank you so
It's
much.
me.
Will Run For It. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I have a couple suggestions. One is named Erica. If you're ever looking for a good one, she'll be great. You guys are awesome. Our listeners, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being part of our pod fam. Erica, save the Tros here and do your thing.
We have so much love for all of you listeners out there. And don't forget to stretch.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, there we go. I got it out. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
We are on TikTok. I'll do a dump on occasion. And did you hear that? I burped again.
Yes, I heard it. You talk about dumps and you burp in the microphone.
It's pickles.
It's pickles.
Yeah, it's pickles.
Gross.
Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't judge. I'd probably burp up pickles, just not today.